been working out for almost 10 years now, and I never thought this is where I would be in 10 years. All right, today's the day. Today's gonna be day one of kind of like a series of videos lining up with day one of what we call a lean bulk. Currently running a 5-day split right now, so it's chest tries, back bis, legs with a quad focus. I rest on Thursday. I do upper body Friday and lower body Saturday. I focus on glutes and hamstrings. Then I rest Sunday. I want to get each one of those workouts on video at least once over the next 2 to 3 months, and hopefully we'll see some progression. So I'm just kind of wrapping up a cut. Started more or less by accident when I got sick, and I lost a lot of muscle and strength really quick. At the time I was a little bit sad about it, but I decided I would just roll with the punch and try to cut off as much body fat as I could. I decided I was going to take a more lean bulk approach. So for those of you who don't know what a lean bulk is, the idea is you want to build muscle at a rate that's sustainable without you adding too much body fat. Now, some prefer to kind of just go all out and go bear mode or whatever and just try to gain as much weight as possible. I don't think that's necessarily bad, but you have to see what works best for you. And of course, there's like a whole gray area in between that and what I'm trying to do. But I've just found from experience that taking it slow and just being more mindful of my health and feeling better about my body and myself keeps me in a more positive headspace so that I can sustain that growth process a little longer. So the first phase of this is a reverse diet. I think the term was like coined or at least popularized by this guy, Lane Norton. He's a scientist and professional bodybuilder. I don't know if he still competes. So basically what you want to do is you want to incrementally add calories back into your diet over the course of multiple weeks. I'm going to take somewhere between 6 to 8 weeks. I think that's best because I plan to add about 100 calories back in per day every week, if that makes sense. So that by the end of 6 to 8 weeks, I should be in somewhere around a 200 calorie surplus, give or take. You see, it's kind of a moving target because your metabolism starts to kick back up again as you slowly back out of the cut, out of the diet. And so if like, here's how much you're burning in a day and here's how much you're taking in, you start to add some back in, but it starts to kind of move with it. And then eventually you surpass it to get to that place where you want to be. 200 calories, give or take 100 calories for a lean bulk, something like that. Different people have different opinions on where the sweet spot is or the point of diminishing returns is. But that's how I'm gonna play this. Today is day one, so it's chest and tris. It's a pretty simple workout. All of my workouts are relatively simple right now. I think over time, they'll become more specific and nuanced based on what my needs are. So right now, my macros are gonna be around 35% protein, 35% carbs, about 30% fats. The percentages in and of themselves don't really matter that much. And I expect that as I go through this process, that's gonna change gradually. I expect that the carbohydrate intake will slowly overtake the protein intake. Fats, I'm gonna probably keep around 30%. Protein, I'm gonna try to keep around 1 gram per pound body weight. Try to give updates on that along the way. Right now I'm eating around 1,900 calories, maybe a little less, which is like really low. I'm 5'11", I'm weighing 164 as of today, which is really light for me. I'm also probably the weakest I've been in years, which has been humbling. Not necessary to get to a point of being really weakened as you go through a cutting process like this. It's just that due to the circumstances at the beginning and just how long it's been drawn out because of other reasons. Anyway, so I'm gonna take you through a little workout today. Even a beginner could go through this workout. And then at the end of the workout, I'm gonna do a little bit of a physique update, if you want to call it that. Do some poses just to kind of show where the physique is at today. I don't plan on, walking around taking photos and videos with my shirt off all the time. I don't think that's how I want to do this channel. But bodybuilding is obviously going to require presentation. All right, so let's just get into it. Before we start, I'm just going to commit this to God in prayer. Father, thank you for this vessel. Thank you for this opportunity to use it, to take care of it, to build it up. Just want to say thank you for that and pray for blessing, pray for your leading, and I pray that you will use this somehow for your glory. In Christ, amen. My warm-up for chest work's a little unconventional. I just have a lot of tension in certain areas of my body, mostly due to stress or bad posture, or both. So I'm gonna start off with some self-myofascial release for the traps. Now I'm just stretching pecs out. You want to go for like a 6 to a 7 out of 10 in terms of intensity. Some people like to use a door frame or something else and fold their arm up like this. I don't find that to be as effective. Just do whatever works best for you. I like to keep my palm open, put some pressure into it. I like to actually imagine I'm like doing that fly motion that turns the muscle on. And so then keeping the muscle active starts to help it to open up a little more. Because the whole point of stretching is you want to stretch the muscle belly, not the connective tissue or the tendons or whatever. So sometimes you can feel the stretch better if you actually put a little bit of oomph into it. I'm just pretty tight in general, so I usually spend anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes warming up if I have the time. Try to really open myself up so I can get the most out of the exercises I want to do. Because there are lots of exercises where it's all about loading that stretched portion. Bench press is no exception, but you know, if you can't get a good contraction, comfortable position at the bottom of the bench press, then you're gonna be leaving a lot on the table. Yo guys, peep this.
Yeah. You already know, spread the message.
I think I'm gonna need to pick myself up some Christian gym wear. Now I'm just gonna do some wide grip cable rows to warm up my upper back. Some people use bands, just do retractions. I think that's good too. I just kind of prefer this. I feel like it's more involved. And it's kind of like the reciprocal of what you're doing when you bench if you put your hands in the right spot. And especially if you have a bar that's like long and straight. If it's angled, that works too. But the idea is you just want to get all of these muscles back here turned on. Really only need like 1 or 2 rounds of that. So I don't intend to do an in-depth technical breakdown on any of the exercises I'm about to do, but I'll try to give tips and pointers as I go. I always like to start with the bar. Gotta retract, retract, retract. Really hard to overdo that. I don't even think you can overdo that. I usually bench pretty wide, so don't freak out. A little bit of it is just to warm up in the literal sense, but I also like it because it's just a chance to kind of get your mindset on the motion, like what you're actually doing, and just lock in. Like I was saying earlier, I am quite weak now. Not that I was ever crazy strong, but I'm weak even for me. And so these are gonna be humble beginnings. If you came here to be entertained by clanging and banging with huge weights, you're gonna be sorely disappointed. So just fair warning. While I'm going through this reverse diet phase, this next 6 to 8 weeks, I'm gonna be trying to accumulate more volume over time, which is to say, I just want to increase the overall workload gradually, week over week. So in some instances, more sets, in some instances, more reps, in some instances, both. Specifically gonna be focusing on doing more sets per exercise and or per muscle group over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks. So we're gonna do 4 sets of 10 to 12 incline bench press, going with incline because I feel like working up here is a little bit more of a priority for me right now than down here. So if this was more of a priority, I'd probably stick with flat bench. By far and away, I prefer flat bench over incline bench, but they're both amazing exercises. And I'm gonna keep things pretty simple. We're gonna do 4 sets of 10 to 12 here. About 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes of rest. Let's go. My mind-muscle connection is actually so poor that sometimes I'll actually flex in between sets, like straight up. And sometimes people make comments or give me weird looks, and I guess that's warranted, but I know I have a reason. Sometimes in between sets, it'll be like this for like 20 seconds. But it really helps. Some quick tips when you set up. You wanna have a little arch in your back, preferably in the middle back, not in the low back. You can do that by keeping a little tension in your core to stabilize your low back and kind of just lift that chest up like this. And then when you're pressing, this might not seem intuitive, but if you really think about it, if your goal is to take the bar from over the shoulders, touch it down to a higher point on your chest, where your chest is lifted, and then bring it back to where you started, it's not exactly a linear bar path. So you see a lot of people just pressing like this, like a jackhammer, when in reality you should be just building tension, bringing it down, touching down, and driving it, pressing it back over the shoulders, kind of like hoisting the weight up like this. That way you save a little bit of energy in the shoulders, you have a little more power, you can work your chest a little bit more. The chest fly machine, nothing against dumbbells, nothing against cables. I love both of those for different reasons, but I just always like this machine. I don't see these kinds of machines around a lot, so when I'm here, I like to use it. And with fly motions in general, I don't really like to go too heavy. This is gonna be 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. So since I'm going a little lighter and it's an isolation movement, really gonna keep the rest at around 60 to 90 seconds. Tricep push downs. Just gonna try to warm up my triceps a little bit. Sometimes I actually do cable kickbacks or dumbbell kickbacks, and I'll actually do that exercise to warm up. But today, feeling pretty good. I'm gonna just do some tricep extensions like this until I feel a pump, and I'm gonna go into this exercise. We're gonna do 3 working sets here, 12 to 15 reps. As I previously mentioned, my mind-muscle connection is not great in general. Some muscles it's easier for me to connect with than others. If there's a list, triceps would be probably close to the bottom, if not at the bottom. Doing little things like this, as silly as it seems, make a world of difference for me. And yes, I'm aware that I'm supposed to be facing the other way. I just like using this cable because it's higher up. I feel like I can get a better profile, which is to say, like, I can get the resistance distributed across the whole motion in a way that feels better. So rest time for this one, 60 to 90 seconds. I always feel kind of guilty about doing this, but with this exercise and also dumbbell curls and then some other exercises, if you take this like little staggered stance, I don't know if you could see it, kind of like one foot a little bit in front of the other, you get so much stability. Feels good. You can try it, but maybe be mindful to switch feet every once in a while, like switch sides. I lost count. I'm gonna say this is 5, because I'm not sure if it's 5 or 6, and then I'm gonna go down. 6, 7, 8, 9. Easy thing is, I feel like knowing that this is going into a video is like keeping me really dialed in. And I feel like I'm connecting even better than usual. Or maybe it's just because I'm not listening to headphones. Maybe both. I don't know, but I like it. It's good. Not getting like that hyper stimulation. I'd probably be doing more sets of both chest and triceps if I wasn't working those muscles again on Fridays right now. So for today, 8 working sets chest, 6 working sets triceps. When I hear myself say that, it sounds like barely anything, but done right, with good form, with the right weights, the right pace, at this stage is enough. My weekly volume for chest, I guess, will end up somewhere around between like 12 to 14 sets, and triceps about the same, maybe a little more. I like to do supersets, biceps and triceps on Fridays. Not 100% sure like which supersets work the best. I kind of just mix it up with different things right now, but the general format of the workouts is always the same. You'll see. A little rest pause, 10 to 15 seconds rest. If you ever want to do it, I don't recommend doing it all the time. Kind of just want to do it on your last set. Not bad. I'm gonna do 3 sets of 12 to 15 here as well. Kind of the same vein as a tricep push down, using cables, focusing on extending. I find this one's a little bit better for getting a loaded stretch, and that overhead position helps you to stretch this inner head of the tricep, called the long head, crosses over the shoulder here, helps in extension. So if it helps to do this motion, going in the opposite direction is going to lengthen that muscle, put a little bit more stretch on it, and thus stimulate that part of the muscle a little bit more. If you're not doing any overhead variations of triceps, I recommend sticking in at least 1. Yeah, this is another machine you don't see all over the place, but if you can find it, oh my goodness. All right, we'll do a little rest pause here too, in like 10 seconds. Woo! I've got more weak points than strong points, but the triceps are definitely a huge weak point. So always happy for an opportunity to train them. That's gonna have to be it. All right, I'm gonna do a quick 1 mile jog at 6.0. Chest and tris. It's a hard workout, but it's not like super crazy strenuous like leg days are. So I always feel like it's a good opportunity to do a little cardio. So I'm just gonna do a mile. So I'll see you on the other side. All right, here it comes. We're gonna do a check-in, and a little nervous about this. I'm not a professional poser by any means. I've never competed. I'm not even 100% sure I do want to compete at this point. But a long time ago, that was the dream. I think the dream is still alive. But you always have to put those things into subjection, because you have to do your best to follow God's will. Been working out for almost 10 years now, and I never thought this is where I would be in 10 years. But kind of just picking up where we are. And this will also be a work in progress, trying to figure out how to present in the right way. All right, that's gonna do it for episode 1 of this new video series. Thanks for everyone who watched this video. And if you feel led to, please leave a like on the video. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you wanna follow me on this journey. And if you would like to interact with me, or if you have some feedback to leave for me, feel free to leave a comment as well. God willing, I would love to build a community with this channel, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what God will do. So until next time, God bless you. And praise Jesus.